Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Improving's Lunch and Learn. Before we get started, I wanted to inform you about a question and answer feature. The question mark icon in the upper right-hand corner of the presentation screen. If you click that icon, it'll open up the question and answer feature. This will allow you to send the moderator questions. We can then deliver them to Minu at the appropriate time. With that said, I'm super excited to have Minu Mohan. She's a director of client services at Improving. She's going to be sharing with us the power of a positive no. I'm super excited to have this. I'm one of those people that it's very difficult for me a lot of times to say no. So Minu, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Max. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here because this topic is actually near and dear to my heart. And I wish I had read this book, which I based my presentation on a long time ago, because I'm also one of those people who is a people pleaser, basically, and I have a hard time saying no. But I realized that saying yes all the time was hurting me and was hurting people who were near and dear to my heart. And somebody recommended this book to me, and I said, hey, why not? And I'll give it a try. And after I read this, it really opened up my eyes. So this presentation is actually based on the book by Dr. William Ury. He is a professor, Harvard professor, who has written several books. He's been a negotiator, actually, for the Middle East and Soviet Union. And Professor Ury also teamed up with President Carter to start the International Negotiation Network. So I hope that after getting some tips from the presentation, you go and read this book, and I hope it really helps you. So what is the problem? Why do we always say yes? And who is this presentation for? So the first word we learned when we were toddlers was no, in any language. You know, I learned the first, my kids learned it first, and saying no is actually not too bad. This presentation is going to help people who are, you know, just because they want to be polite, they'll just say no. Or young professionals who are afraid to say no because they don't want to hurt their boss, they don't want to hurt their co-workers, and getting into that pattern of saying yes all the time really will probably hurt them in the long run. And it's for anybody who's feeling powerless when it comes to establishing firm boundaries. As we all know, the wrong no can destroy what we most value by alienating and angering people. That is why saying no the right way is crucial. The secret to saying no without destroying relationship lies in the art of the positive no. So what is the problem? The problem is a demand or request that is unwelcome, a behavior that is inappropriate or abusive, or a situation or a system that is not working for us and it's not fair. Let me give you an example. Your boss asks you to work the weekend to complete an important project. It is the very weekend that you and your friends have been looking forward to gathering. And it's your boss who's asking, and you have a promotion coming up. What do you do? What would you do? Think about that for a minute. The opening is that, hey, boss, my family really needs me, and I intend to spend the holidays. And you say, matter of fact, hey, I will not be working during the holiday and weekend. However, you propose something like, hey, I know it's really important, the project's really important, so let me propose a solution that works for us and we can complete all the work during the week. Instead of saying, no, I don't want to do it, this person is actually presenting a solution. So that is what I call a power of a positive no. So in life, in our daily dealings, I feel like that we fall into the 3A trap. What is a 3A trap? You're saying yes when you really want to say no, right? you're saying no, you're attacking the person who is asking you a question because you don't care about a relationship, or you might just say yes without, without anything, and you really want to say no, but you say yes because you want to avoid the situation. Let me give you another example. A Japanese samurai, this is an example from a book, it's very good. A Japanese samurai was traveling and he encountered a merchant who owed the samurai some money. And the merchant told the samurai, hey, I don't have any money right now. I can't pay you back. Give me some other time. So the samurai thinks about it and says, no, I really want my money. And the merchant says, hey, listen, I'm asking you nicely. Can you please give me some more time to pay you back? So the samurai says, okay, no problem. I will, if you don't return the money within a year, I will definitely kill you. So the samurai goes home, and when he gets home, he finds his wife in bed with another person, and the person is dressed as a samurai. So it's dark, and he doesn't realize that he's ready to attack, and he's about to attack when his wife wakes up and says, "Stop! Stop! Stop! Don't do this!" And when the lights come on, they discover that his mom is actually dressed as a samurai, and the samurai says, "What is the meaning of this? I almost killed you guys." And his wife says that, hey, we were scared that you were gone and we didn't want to be attacked by robbers, so I dressed your mom as a samurai, so if the robbers did come to our house, they would think the samurai was living with us. So think about it for a moment. It actually, he stopped and he thinks, okay, good thing I took a moment to myself and didn't attack. So when you are about to say no to something, I'd suggest that you take a step back, you think about it before you say no or before you say yes. So what is the yes, no, yes model? First, the yes is the empathetic yes that expresses that you have an interest, right? Think about it for a minute. And then the definite no comes. You assert your no and you create boundaries. And then the second yes, which is almost a question, furthers your relationship by presenting a possibility that is consistent with your needs. Let me give you a personal example. So last summer, my daughter, who had just turned 18, comes to us and says, hey, mom and dad, I'm 18. I want to go on a vacation with my friends who I met online. As a parent, our first reaction was, no, you cannot go with somebody you have met online. We don't know the parents. We really don't know these people. How can you go? She told us, hey, I'm 18. There's nothing you can do about it. And we were like, okay, we didn't want to destroy our relationship with our daughter by saying just a flat out no. So we said, yes, we understand that, you have a need to see your friends. You're 18. You want to explore the world. But yes, we also understand that, hey, your security is an issue. We are not going to let you go travel, to a different city with your friends you just met online. So we propose that, hey, if you really want to go, here are some of the rules and regular boundaries that you have to, abide by. And one of us, either mom or dad, are going to go with you. You can spend some time with your friends during the day, but you come back at night and spend the night with us. So she thought about it for a minute. Then after a couple of days, she says, okay, fine, I'm ready to do that. What did that help? First of all, it really helped my relationship with my daughter. I didn't have to, she was not mad. She was mad in the beginning, but then she came around. It actually strengthened that, hey, I can trust you as an adult. And she could trust us back, says, okay, you're letting me do this, but yeah, I do realize that I'm only 18. I haven't seen the world much. Let's do this. So, we went to Florida. My husband took a flight down to Florida with her. During the day, she would go spend some time with her friends in the same city, and my husband would play golf. And at night, they would drop her off by 9 o'clock. That was the curfew time. And you know what? For 3 days, she was a happy person. We were happy parents, and our relationship is, stronger because of that. So, what is the yes, no, yes model? We derive our no from what we are. Our no is actually a deeper yes. A yes to our core interests and what truly matters to us. It's that's what you're trying to figure out the bigger picture here. What is the bigger yes? What is the underlying interest? What are our priorities? Right? And if you can't figure it out, take a moment. Go to the balcony. That's what the Professor Yuri says. Take a minute and go to the balcony. Balcony is not physically going to the balcony, but the balcony is a place of perspective, calm, and clarity. Like, for example, when my daughter took a couple of days to decide that was going to the balcony. Let me give you an example of uncover your yes. Explain your yes. A sales manager, I'm in sales, and I've been guilty of that. A sales manager who's having trouble saying no to his biggest customer, who is continually pressing him for more price reduction. It happens to me every day in sales. So the question here is what is the underlying yes? The underlying yes for salespeople is, okay, maintaining a steady stream of revenue. That is my yes, right? But why? Why are we saying that, hey, we don't want to reduce pricing, we don't want to reduce the rates for, what is the why? The why is profit. We want to create a profit. But why do we want profits? We want profits so we can all work and put food on the table. That is our ultimate yes, correct? Then the no comes in the picture. Empower your no, assert your no. I'll give you another example. Let's say a investor is calling some of the people who are investing his money, and he's really verbally abusing. Like, hey, you didn't meet the profits, you didn't meet my plans, blah, blah, blah. And the executive, who's on the phone says, hey, Peter, you know what? I'll call you back later. That he's asserting his no because he wants to say no to his behavior. He's not saying no to the person. He's just saying to no, I'll call you later. We'll talk when you're in a better mood. That was his plan B. So he devised a strong plan B. He confirmed the interest, his power to say no. He was clear and specific. He said, I'll call you later. After may he have calmed down tomorrow, maybe the executive would have calmed down too. So, and then respect your way to a yes. Propose a yes. Another example for that is, let's just say a woman complains to her husband that, hey, you're spending too much time in the office. You really need to spend time. You need to get away from the office. What does the husband do? The husband books a golf trip and goes away for the weekend. Yes, the woman did, she uncovered the truth that, hey, you're not spending time. But did she really say what she wants the husband to do? Instead of saying, hey, I really want you to spend time with me, she didn't say that I want to spend time with my family, wants to spend time with you. You have to propose your yes. You cannot just assume that the other person will know. It has to be, you have to mutually agree on saying your yes, realistically, positively. You need to have confidence in yourself to face other people's reaction. When you say no, other people might get angry, but is that okay? Sometimes it is okay, because you know what? Their anger is not on you. Their anger is not on you as a person. Their anger is on the situation. So we need to be able to decipher between, hey, are we angering the person or are we angering the situation? why saying no is essential. I think we have to learn to say no because it is essential to the creation and preservation of transformation. Saying no allows us to choose where we put our time and energy. It shows us to focus on giving. It shows us to focus on giving it on the people, the parts of our life, that really deserve it. And this is when we start to thrive as a human being, as adults, as whatever the case may be. We are saying no because we don't want to hurt ourselves. We don't want to hurt the people in our lives, and we don't want to hurt the situation. No is the key word in defining your identity, your individuality, or in organization terms, your brand. No is a selection principle that allows you to be who you are and not someone or something else. Why is it important to say no? You have to be honest and you have to be straight. It is important to be hard on problems, not the people, like I mentioned before. The situation may be that, you know what, you're actually saying no to the situation and not the person. If you accompany candor with empathy and respect, it enables you to disagree without being disagreeable. You know, if you are honest and straight with the other person by saying no, you have to give them a reason why you're saying no. Proposing a no and proposing a yes. The outcome needs to be a yes in the end. Max, do we have any questions that have come up yet?
Yeah, we got one that came through, and I think you hit on it a little bit, but it's maybe a good area that you can dig into. What are some good ways? You had mentioned, I guess, what it sounds like, stepping back, right? And stepping back to say no. Do you have some examples or some tips that you can give? Like, how do you verbalize that to the person that you're kind of trying to get a pause to?
Right. So, like I said, so you have to basically listen, right? You have to listen to the problem. And when our immediate, as human beings, we don't listen or we try to avoid. So I think listening will really help. What are you trying to get to? The ultimate yes. You have to, so basically when I said go to the balcony, take a step back and think in your head, is this really what really matters? Am I doing this because I want to avoid something? Am I doing this because I really don't want to do it? Or am I doing this because I want to, I really want to help, but I just don't have the time. So I think you need to take a step back and really look at the situation and say, okay, I really want to help, but these are my time restrictions. These are my boundaries. Here's what I can do. Think of something that you can really help them with without saying no. And in a way, you are saying no, but saying yes to the other person. The other person is feeling the yes, but you're actually saying no. So I think listening and taking a step back to analyze the situation will really help. Sometimes we are, not given the chance, but I highly recommend that you do, even if you're stepping back, don't say no or don't say yes right away. Think about it. And it's okay to say, hey, you know what, that's a really good question, or that's a really good example. Let me come back. And let people will understand. We human beings are creatures of, we do tend to do things, and I think it's okay to take a step back and say, okay, let me analyze this in my head. Okay, what am I going to do next? And when you start putting this in practice, you will realize how easy it becomes. Especially, Max, so when we're on sales calls, right? Our first reaction is, yeah, let's just say yes to whatever the customer is asking. But have we ever thought and say, okay, if I'm saying yes, I'm putting the pressure on my development team to come up with, do everything. And the development team is going to say, hey, Max, why did you say yes? We cannot do this. This is not our strong suit. So we need to take a step back and salespeople and say, oh, you know what? Yes, I would love to help you, Mr. Customer, but you know what? Let me get back to my development team and say, okay, let me ask them if they can really do it, because I really don't want to make empty promises to you. In this way, you have say, yes, I understand your frustration or you understand your need to do this, but I also want to check with my team and say if they can really, really produce and if they really can help you. If they can't, first of all, you will be disappointed. My team will definitely be disappointed. And where are we going to be with this one?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
the idea of the consultative thing, you talk about questioning, asking more questions, because a lot of times in that moment, right, it may simply lead to a way for you to connect them either to somebody else that has the ability to help, instead of saying that no.
Correct. And you know what? It's very emotional, right? Saying no and saying yes, they're very emotionally attached. You want to make sure that you're ready to say yes, but do you want to say yes to everything? You can't. I mean, in real life, you just cannot say yes to everything. You have to learn to say no. And I think it's going to be very healthy for people who say no, but also propose a solution, right? So, so my next, what after saying yes, no, yes, what happens? What do you want to come out of it? So we propose, like I said, you propose a clear yes. A constructive proposal. It's clear, feasible, positively framed, and respectful. Make your request clear. Instead of asking the other to change their attitude or feeling, it is more effective to couch the request in terms of specific behaviors you would like to see. Make your request feasible. The more you take into account the other's needs of constraints, the greater the chances the others will comply with your request. Frame your request positively. Don't just tell the others to stop doing something you don't want them to do. Ask them to try doing something you do want them to do. And at least, and most important of it, make it respectful. Your manners can make the difference between acceptance and refusal. I mean, this is something I really, really strongly believe in. As long as we are respectful to the other person or the situation, it can go a long way. Just saying no just because you want to say no will not get you anywhere. You have to give them respect. You have to positively frame your yeses. You have to make sure you have to be feasible and clear. It goes a long way. For example, the example I gave you about, the woman complaining that her husband was going on a golf trip instead of spending time with her. She didn't tell him that, hey, I really want you to stay home on the weekends for me, my kids. We really want to spend time with you. Had she done that, the husband would have said, okay, you know what? I realize that I've been spending way too much time in the office. Let me finish all my work during the week so I have the weekend to spend with you. What does that give everybody? It gives them a healthy relationship. It gives them mutual respect, and their relationship has been saved because of that. So as Uri writes, and if you'll read this in the book, the positive no is a marriage of two of the most fundamental words in the language, yes and no. Yes is the key word of community. No is the key word of individuality. Yes is the key word of connection. No is the key word of protection. Yes is the key word of peace. No is the key word of justice. And the more you read, you'll see more examples. It's a negotiation tactic, right? Basically, you're negotiating with yourself, you're negotiating with others, you're negotiating with your colleagues. It comes down to negotiation. It comes down to acceptance. It comes down to agreements. And the best thing that comes out of it is preserved relationships. So I would like to conclude, yes without no destroys one's own satisfaction, whereas no without yes destroys one's relationship with others. Like I said before, the great art to marry a yes and a no. Fortunately, each of us are offered many, many, many opportunities throughout the day to practice saying no. I highly suggest everybody to start practicing in your daily life. Start with something small. Start by saying yes, no, yes to your kids. Start by saying yes, no, yes to your coworkers. Start by saying yes, no, yes to your friends. And I promise you, the more you practice, the better you will become at it. Your lives will be richer. Your days will be full of energy, your time, and you will become a great person because you learn to say no.
Awesome, Minu. Just really, I think this post was more around a statement more than it is, and it's kind of like it basically said, prepare yourself to say no, right? And if you have,
yeah,
if you have your time blocks of on your calendar per se, right? That it's this time is for writing or journaling, this time is for taking a 15-minute personal break, or this part of this weekend, or I only will go out 2 times a week during the weekday, right? It's easier to be able to say no when you know that you have concrete things that are in your plan that you're trying to follow, and you know that you already have plans out there, and basically being able to say, it's not going to work out for me because I have these things going on, but maybe I can, direct you into some other direction.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and I'll tell you, let's just, I have started blocking like chunks of time on my calendar. Every Tuesday and Thursday, I block 7 to 8 o'clock. Because of my workout, I block 2 hours every day to focus on something that's really important. We have meetings every day. They run into each other. They run into lunch. I've started blocking time on my calendar so I can actually focus on something. If somebody really needs me, you know what? They can send me a message. I will eventually get back to them. If it's important, they have my phone number. They can call me and leave me a message. It's very important. Like Max, you said, especially during the pandemic. Hey, we all started working from home. It was great, but I think some of us didn't realize that professional time, it kind of spilled into your personal time as well. People were working late. People didn't realize that, hey, it's lunchtime. Maybe I should take a break. There was no value of, hey, what is personal time and what is professional time? People were started taking meetings during lunchtime, or they started taking meetings, during sometimes even the weekends, because hey, they're sitting at home, they have nothing better to do, they might as well work. I think that's wrong. You should have clear boundaries. Yes, I will be available from, let's just say, 8 to 5. I will be available for work. But after 5 o'clock, it's personal time. You are learning to say no. Because unless you take the time to say no, you're not saying yes to yourself. So yes, absolutely. I really like the idea of I like the idea of blocking time sometimes on your calendar. If you want to focus, you want to take a 15-minute break, or you want to block out some time to do some learning, some soul searching for yourself, like journaling. Yeah, I totally agree with.
Yeah, well, and it's giving you those blocks, right, as that, comfortable way of knowing that you can utilize that as, the no, right? If somebody says, unfortunately, I have these things that are taking time, but those are important things for you, right, that are going to make you happy in the long result side of, if I just say yes to something that I know I don't want to do, it's a psychological thing for me ultimately down.
And yeah, and I think for many people, right, we want to say yes to everything, but hey, you're only hurting yourself. You can say no, but make sure you're clear why you're saying no. Just say no just because you want to, like, hey, I don't want to do this. Be clear and let the other person know that, hey, you're saying no. This is the reason I'm saying no. The other person, I guarantee you, will understand, maybe because they are also feeling the same way.
Yeah, I like what you talked about at the beginning too, and with your daughter and the family, and sitting down and actually talking through that no, and then that it resulted in an alternative, which I think was really good.
It did, and you know what? My first reaction was saying, no, you can't do that. I'm still the parent. You're still living at our home. No, but she pointed out, hey, I'm 18. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, she knows the law. Technically, yes, I cannot do it. I mean, if she decides to go and they're like, okay, well, you're financially still dependent on us. I could play that card, but that would ruin my relationship, right? So we sat down and we gave her our alternative, take it, and I didn't say take it or leave it. I said, think about it. Think about it. You can still go, but as long as one parent is going with you, I'm worried about your security. One parent needs to go, whether you like it or not. We have to. And after a couple of days, she realized that, hey, you know what? It's the best of both worlds. I can still go see my friends, and I can still be mom and dad's favorite child, whatever.
Yeah.
So yes, a plan. That was my plan B, and I think it was a pretty strong plan B. And I'm glad I read this book. Otherwise, you know what? Knowing my personality, I would have said no flat out. Nope, you can't go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for attending Improving's virtual Lunch and Learn. And Minu, thank you for sharing this topic.
Yeah.
As a reminder, the recording to the session will be available by Monday at the virtual events page at improving.com/virtual events. We at Improving hope you guys all have a great weekend, as well as you, Minu. Have a good one.
Thank you, everyone.